Essentially, my vision is to work with the world's largest, the most scalable CPGs out there and convert their existing solutions into podded form factors. I see a world where we have pods in lieu of bottled products. 70% of consumers are willing to pay more, so much as willing to pay more for sustainable packaged products. They truly just don't have options, and I feel our products perfectly solve that problem.
Yeah. Okay, they definitely do. So for like, just to run that all back, so basically guys, what Ben is doing here with Nohbo, and right now the Sunrise Sessions brand specifically, is taking all of the bottles that you guys already see, everything that you already see on products, and he wants to work business to business. So basically taking a lot of the brands that you guys are already used to and are saying, hey, you guys are doing this in an old-fashioned manner, a way that's really not sustainable and not conducive to the direction that we need to be heading. Here is our solution. How can we, work something and make some magic happen out of that, which is awesome because it's super disruptive, especially within that industry. And like you just listed off all of those facts, like the disruption that goes on within one industry cascades forward. So just by you doing that and you playing that role, it's a tremendous thing that I feel once people can see, like, oh, now that we have more options, they can feel really good about, their decisions to purchase certain products and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I think one of the problems a lot of sustainable products have is, well, it's really twofold. The first being a green tax. Most sustainable products are too expensive. People that want to make the transition can't afford them. And the second product is they put a lot of onus on the user to change their habits. My goal with our products is to eradicate both of those problems. We want cost parity with using drops, for one, in lieu of bottled products. I see that as our long-term vision. And the second is we want the product to be as seamless as possible for the user to use. So sustainable solutions can be adopted at mass. And with that, once those two things occur, I think it will have this ripple effect throughout the industry where pods will be adopted in mass, not only for personal care. I hope this company inspires so many companies utilizing water-soluble films to adopt the same strategy, to convert their products to formats that follow this mission, follow this emphasis of leaving no trace behind.
Definitely. Cool, man. I love it. I'm loving this right now. Okay, so even right there, you already addressed a lot of questions I was going to ask you about the vision of, where you see things going. So you already just touched on that. I want to ask you, what challenges do you see for Nohbo moving forward? And then not just for Nohbo as well, but for other sustainable brands that kind of want to make an impact, whether it's in consumer goods or any other industry. What biggest challenges do you see?
Sure. I think the first big challenge is getting one large group on board. I think once you get one group on board, others will follow. The second main challenge, and this is more of a consumer-facing challenge, is how do you teach the consumer how to use our products? I can describe how we're doing it, but I think in general, if you're offering alternative form factors, there's a huge consumer education component that needs to be addressed. Okay. And the way we're doing it is our strategy is to place these products in hotels. Hotels are notoriously wasteful for offering single-use amenity bottles throughout their resorts, throughout their lodges. By using our products, by trying new packaging displays, new infographic displays, we're able to learn from the consumer how they can actually learn how to use the product. They're forced to interact with our product, since most people that stay at hotels, they don't bring their own shampoo or they don't bring their own body wash. And from there, they convert into a consumer, a direct-to-consumer customer.
So when you go to these hotels, are you going to the hotel specifically, or are you going to the brand that the hotel is supplying these products?
Great question. We're actually doing both.
Okay,
so
nice.
We have our own brand, Sunrise Session, that we recently launched, and hotels that want to easily convert into an existing solution with no customization, no product development process, they buy into our Sunrise Session brand.
Okay.
For hotels that are looking to develop a custom line and work with Malin and Goats, a common hotel amenities provider, we work with the brand and the hotel to create a custom product.
Okay. Okay, perfect. All right, cool. Awesome. So you definitely you You guys have been putting in the work. I love this. If you guys didn't know Nohbo or Sunrise Sessions, anytime by now, I guarantee you sometime soon you'll see it. I was actually in Target the other day and I noticed there was a company, I don't even remember what it's called, but they had kind of similar to what Nohbo was doing with the pods, or what Sunrise Sessions doing with the pods, when instead it was strips.
Yeah,
like paper
Clean with
strips.
Plus.
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah, we're very close with their team.
Okay, awesome.
It's an incredible product.
Cool. And see, you guys heard that? I love how there's a lot of love within the sustainable field, because everyone has that same goal at the end of the day to reduce plastic. So reduce it in general. So when you go to these brands, it's nice to know that especially in economics, things can kind of tend to get more competitive than they need to be. And I feel like there's a competitive aspect within the sustainable niche that is there's more of a mutual level of respect, a base level of respect of at the end of the day, we're all trying to achieve the same thing. So I like hearing that. That's good.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's a very close-knit community. Beauty in general, cosmetics, personal care, the industry in general. But there's definitely a special place in my heart for sustainability companies that have the same core vision and mission as we do. I think it also helps us all. A rising tide rises all ships. So the more people that sort of enter this space, the more marketing dollars that go into this space, the more attention this space gets, the easier adoption new technologies will have. This is not some hyper-competitive, dog-eat-dog world. It's truly, we all benefit from promoting our own technologies.
Nice. Okay. So as far as, and this will be my last question, because you really hit a lot in just what you said, but as far as from a macro standpoint, legislation and economic principles, what are some things that you think will be the next steps towards mass adaptation of sustainable goods within the consumer goods market, but just in general? What do you think it's going to take because I'm big on transportation, so I'm always trying to think of how we can do things within the transportation industry, logistics industry, but just in general, what do you think is going to be some of the bigger challenges to face, or what do you think we need to, needs to come so that we can get onto the sustainable wave?
Sure. I think everything stems from the consumer ultimately. I mentioned already that 70% of consumers are willing to pay more for sustainable packaged items. And this causes this ripple effect within CPGs, specifically the ones creating and innovating new products. The largest being Procter & Gamble. They have a new initiative in place where they say they are going to reduce their use of virgin plastic by 2030 by 50%, slashing it in half. And the way they're doing that is they say they were inspired to do this by adopting concentrate form factors of products, i.e. Tide Pods. Hospitality is another sector that I think is adopting a lot of the change from CPG's innovations. They have new internal corporate regulations that have been almost superimposed by the top down, citing that they will eliminate their amenities program outright. A lot of this is driven by government regulations. The state of New York, the state of California have banned single-use amenity bottles in hotels by or before 2024. Ultimately, I think everything derives from consumer needs. They are pushing in these very progressive states to change legislation, which is having a ripple effect in innovation from CPGs and adoption of new products in hospitality. I think moving forward, consumer trends are clearly indicating people want products they can feel good about. The products that survive in the long term will deliver on that need.
Nice. Okay. Perfect. And thing that he said here, in a number that you'll hear a lot, 2030 is a big goal year for a lot of sustainable initiatives. I know that within the Sustainable Development Goals set out by the UN, that's the year that they're aiming for as well. And I think a lot of companies have taken that challenge and kind of, Procter & Gamble, that's a good one. I can see them definitely making changes just because of their size. I know Amazon is committed to zero carbon emissions by that 2030 goal. And then you said even state legislation coming down to it earlier 2024, you'll start to see, you guys will start to see these dates pop up more, and that's just kind of like a timeline that you guys can kind of get in the mindset of to show like, hey, we kind of need to be doing better holistically, even if your part in sustainability is just as a consumer. You definitely kind of want to get into it earlier if you can, if possible, because again, a lot of this is the availability and the options that are out now. But it does help to get into your role and kind of get into a part of this before 2030, because that's like a big date that's thrown out there for a lot of reasons. And yeah, it's we do have to start making a change within a respective amount of time. So yeah, I really enjoyed this.
Yeah,
I
me
really
too.
enjoyed this. This is